Hey, before we start anything, so you had the great idea to wear our overalls today.
Yeah.
And you're like the guy who like says, hey, let's jump off this cliff, and I jump off the cliff, and you're sitting at the top of the cliff, and you never jump.
You know, I tried to talk you out of it,
No,
and I
you
could
didn't.
not. I
No,
could
you didn't.
not. Yeah.
So we're
you didn't
gonna-
want to take it off.
So since you kind of left me high and dry with my overalls,
Maybe I'll do a little pan here for the camera.
you need to show.
How about that?
Yeah.
Look at that. Looking good, Bryce. Let me see the little pocket back there. Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love it.
No, so if you're gonna make fun of my outfit and do the things you do, you got to take off your shoes and show the shoes that you're.
Well, I don't want to take them off. I don't know if I would get back on. So it's raining today.
Yeah, it's
wet
raining.
outside.
It's
and
raining, so-
I have some shoes that I wear for fishing.
Are those your
butt?
do they have the
And these
butterflies on
are
them?
these are rubber like rain boots.
They have butterflies on them.
They're rain boots. Yeah, good. They're Huck as
They're
well.
hot. They're hot and they
great.
have butterflies.
Great. No, they're not butterflies.
There's definitely butterflies.
It's a tie-dye type pattern there. You know, it's
Interesting.
It's a little silly,
Okay.
but I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I wear these on the boat when I go fishing.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, have you ever seen what's the swamp people show?
Swamp people. That's so
You know
you're a
how all
swamp
the
person?
alligator hunters wear the white rubber boots?
Uh-huh.
It's similar, except they're not white.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever
these
makes
are the
you feel-
same type of boots. They're just not white.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Shall we jump into it?
What do you want to jump into? Do you want to jump into washers or do you want to jump into parts of the week?
Let's do the technical thing first, just in
Okay.
case we lose some people.
Okay, let's rock and roll. So we're going to talk washers today. You know, washers are a big part of our business. A lot of times we sell bolts. People ask for washers to go along with their bolts. They ask for gaskets to go along with the bolts. So we're going to get into a little washer education.
I think more specifically, you can get into all kinds of washers, right? You got Belleville washers, you got Scourger washers, which are your favorite.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And then you've got things like USS. I mean, what are some of the other standards that are out there?
SAE.
Yeah, SAE. Yeah, you have lock washers. I think for the purposes of this podcast, I think we focus on a couple. One being F436, which I think everybody knows, which is like a through hardened washer.
Which is SAE pattern.
Yep. And then you have a special one that's in an ASME spec called PCC1. So, what?
Nothing.
What? ASME PCC1.
So what is the dimensions of PCC1?
So those two specifications are probably the ones that we deal with the most in downstream oil and gas, right? Because you'll see USS, SAE, things like that. Those are automotive specs or just general purpose specs. But when it comes to heavy, high load, high temperature bolting, you're going to deal with F436.
Which is
and,
SAE.
And even PCC1.
Correct. F436 is a material spec and it follows the SAE pattern.
Yeah, but you
Right.
also have dimensions in that spec. as
Not
well.
an F436.
Yeah, you do.
Well, it follows the SAE pattern.
Okay, sure.
So it's that the
But
dimensions
dimensions
are
are there.
SAE.
Yeah.
F436 is a hardened washer, right?
Yeah.
That's what F436 is. And F436
But so is
a
PCC1.
is a hardened washer per SAE dimensions,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And PCC1 is
It's not the same.
it's really close,
It is really close, but it's not the same.
almost identical.
So this is a great lead-in to the discussion of the differences between F436 and PCC1.
Okay, let's roll.
Do you know the difference?
It's something about I don't even know.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Prove it.
So what we've done is we brought a trusty little flange here. You've seen this little prop before, but what I've done, Bryce, is I brought this flange, and I've also brought a couple of 5/8 washers.
Okay.
So here is, let's just say this is a representation of F436 and PCC1.
No.
So you see the ID of these washers are the same. So they're still 5/8 washers, correct?
That's a USS washer.
They will fit on a 5/8 bolt.
Yep.
Exactly the
The
same.
same. Yeah, for sure.
But if you notice, one thing is different about these. What's the difference, Bryce?
The OD, because that's a USS
The
washer
OD
and that's
is
an
different.
SAE
Okay.
washer.
So I'm just using this as an example.
Uh-huh.
So you've got
Okay.
different ODs there, right? And the reason why people come up with different ODs, you'll have F436, which is designed for standard ASME flanges, but you've got PCC1 as well, which is specifically designed for flanges. And the specific purpose is when you put this bolt onto, let's say, this prop right here, this flange.
Can you hold it?
Yep, hold it for me, Bryce.
I will hold it for you, Chris.
So when I put this there, you can see right there, the washer moves around a little bit, and you see how close it is to that radius on the hub?
I do.
Of the flange. So this one is made, I'd say correctly, but there's a tolerance on this as well. But the tolerance on the flange and the tolerance on the washer, if the flange is minimized and the washer is maximized, it could cause some interference there. You see that?
But
where that edge of that washer can hit the
But that's
radius
the
on that
USS
hub.
pattern. You would
True,
never use
it's
it.
true. Yeah, but F436 is roughly the same.
Not CSS. It's SAE.
I only use it as an example.
Okay.
And I'm showing you the difference.
Okay.
Because this is an extreme example, which is getting very close to the hub.
Okay.
Okay? So when you've got washers that are specifically designed, which is a smaller
Yep.
OD pattern, you can
SAE.
see that you've got a difference, and you've got a little distance there between
Yep.
the hub of the flange and the edge of the washer.
Correct.
So when you look at an F436 washer and a PCC1 washer, yes, they are the same. But especially on the larger diameters, it's slightly smaller OD, where it ensures that you're significantly
staying
away from
the
this
hub.
radius of the hub.
Okay.
So even though, we looked at this yesterday when you looked at, but if you remember, we took the minimum of the PCC1, and it was the same as the nominal on the minimal on the F436.
Correct.
Is the same as the nominal.
But the maximum is where you're having
Correct.
a little difference.
So the difference is PCC1 will ensure that it's on the lower side of that,
Sure.
even though there's some overlap, and you're right, it is close, but if you want to ensure
You
that
go
you're
PCC1.
away from that radius, you're
I'll
good
give
with
you.
PCC1.
I don't know it without looking, but I'll trust you in this one.
Yeah. It is. You can look it up.
I will trust you. I mean, my trust is within you and all around you.
So those weren't exact samples. I didn't have a PCC1 and an F436, but I used the extreme example in both of those cases where you can see and visually see how far it is away from the radius of that hub.
So F436 SAE pattern.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
it's typically used on studs.
Okay.
Right? A USS pattern is typically used on a headed part, a socket, or a hex point. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
That's kind of the standard. So if you're using a hex bolt, you're going to use a USS. Am I right?
I think you're
Who's
right.
with me? Because Chavez just shook his head like he knew. He's like, yeah, that's right. Really,
I think
Chavez?
if you look at the washer face on the bottom of the headed bolt, using a larger diameter bolt's not getting you anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think oftentimes this is a flange in really good condition, and you can see the surface where that washer would ride.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in used equipment where it's been assembled and disassembled 100 times,
Bumped
you'll
up.
start to see a little dishing right there.
Indentations.
Yeah,
and
indentation, scratches,
Yep.
wear, whatever.
hitting.
And sometimes people paint these flanges. It's just never a predictable surface there. So the thing that a washer does is, especially a through hardened washer, because if you use
Correct.
soft washers under load, it'll take the shape of
Yeah,
that,
it's
right?
just going to cut, right?
So the idea is using a through hardened washer, you're going to get a solid load bearing surface that's going to create some consistency there. Whereas when you torque all of these, you're going to get a consistent amount of torque.
Chani, come say hello. No? Okay.
Hold on.
Everyone's so shy, man. Like, everyone wanted to be on the podcast for such a long time.
Rachel's coming on next week.
Yeah, Rachel's going to come talk tequila. Rachel's got like 5 bottles of tequila on her desk right now. I don't know what's going on over there.
So the importance of using washer, let's just talk generically. Bryce.
Yes, generically.
So when you're torquing any one of these fasteners, there's probably 50% of your torque or your energy that's being absorbed by that surface right there.
Correct.
The friction between the flange or between the washer and the nut face.
Mhm.
So creating a hard surface that's consistent and doesn't have the scratches and gouges and all that stuff is going to create a more consistent torque all the way around. Because if you've got torque wrench, you're clicking the torque wrench, you don't want those friction generators to absorb the stress that you're trying to create in the
Into the
bolt.
flange, yeah.
You want it to be as consistent as possible, which washers is probably the best thing you can do to create that consistency.
Yep. You explained it very well.
Yeah. I mean, we don't prepare for this in any way. As you can tell, we have these little arguments along the way.
We argue all the time.
Disagreements.
Yeah.
Keeps us honest.
Yeah, but I think that's good. I mean, you should be able to argue about things and you figure it out and you come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the great thing about America.
Yeah. Moral of the story is you need support under your nuts. I mean, that's really the more, right?
Yeah.
And if you had to sum it up,
A washer is the jock strap of the industry.
true,
Right?
We've got an audience here. They're just trying to make them laugh.
I think only 2 people are paying attention. JB is paying attention. Rachel is paying attention. Chavez is kind of paying attention. Mave's hiding because she doesn't want to. There she is. Now she's paying attention.
All right, let's blow through some parts, Bryce. I'm going to let you blow away on this, all right?
You want to blow through?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Just pick one.
Pick one. Fun. I don't know what size this is. I'm going to guess 5/8. 3/4? 5/8.
3/4. No, shoot, that's an inch. That's 1 inch.
No way.
Of course, that's an inch. That's not even threaded yet, so that's the minor diameter. So think about that. It's going to be
maybe 7.
It's an inch. Promise you, that's an inch.
Okay. We will fact check this. But so Alloy X, this is an Alloy X nut. I grabbed it. It's not done. It's not threaded.
Alloy X. What is that, Bryce? What is
Alloy X? It's a high nickel alloy.
Is that a Tesla generated alloy?
Yeah, it's Elon Musk's alloy. That's actually kind of funny. He should buy the rights to it.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Used at a high temperature. I mean, this is just high temperature, high corrosion resistance. I mean, Alloy X is one of the
similar
best.
to a duplex, right?
No, high nickel. I mean, high nickel. Duplex isn't a high nickel. So this is very expensive. I mean, nickel drives the price in alloys, right? Mm-hmm. Duplex doesn't have a whole lot of nickel. It's chrome and I think moly. Mm-hmm. I think. I might be wrong there. But it doesn't have a whole lot of nickel. Okay. This is probably, I would guess, anywhere from 70 to 80% nickel. That's my guess. I might be off there, but very high nickel alloy. So it does very well in temperature and corrosion resistance. Okay. Holds its properties well. So we're making a bunch of studs, making a bunch of nuts. It's a pretty common alloy. I mean, we make it quite a bit. It's used in a lot of petrochem. Refineries will use it, and then aerospace, like turbines, jet engines.
Nice. That's a nice 1 inch nut. You should think.
So what is this?
The height of the nut, right? So look at that.
Well, you're right.
The height of the nut. You see that?
Chavez, you got
one joint
a
of the
ruler?
finger. The height of the nut. So the height of that nut corresponds to
you're
nominal
right.
diameter.
You might be right.
You might be right. I'm right, Bryce. I was born on a Tuesday, but it wasn't last Tuesday.
Chavez, well done. It's a 7/8.
No way. It's not.
Swear to God, it's
We're
a 7/8.
going to check that.
I just did. It's a 7/8.
No, you didn't check that.
Chavez, one more time. I threw it back at him, and we're going to do it one more time. Oh, shit. So, this is not your normal ruler here.
Almost severed the top of his ear.
Almost pulled a Donald Trump there. Got my ear cut off. There's a shooter on the water tower, I tell you. 7/8, sir. Okay. 7/8.
Are you taking that to the top?
Get out of here. 7/8, fool.
You know, that's within the tolerance. I'm going to check it to be sure.
Good night. So, Alloy X nuts, studs, lots of fun. Cap nut. I want to do the cap nut.
Let's do that.
You know, we talked about the cap
I'll
nuts.
let you talk about it. Oh, it's a monster.
It's a big
It's a
boy
beauty.
right there.
Yeah.
So this is a 2.5 inch B7, grade 7.
That's why it's so heavy. It's not done yet.
It's not done
That's going to be
yet.
hollowed out and threaded, but you can see proof that it's made from solid round bar.
So turn around, they were actually threading this side, so that's not as common, right? So normally you have this is solid,
You
and then
rarely ever see these threaded on the top.
they'll drill and tap the other side too. So
that will fit over the stud that it's fitting on.
So that's 2.5 8 on this side. That's what it's going to be. I don't really know what that's probably. That looks like maybe inch. Don't you think?
I'm curious what that's going to be for, though. That's not drilled all the way through, then, right?
It's not. No.
Interesting. It's like a little pocket to store some goodies in or something.
So did you ever watch the
little plug
Simpsons
on the top?
episode? The pocket of a pocket fox.
No, I don't think so.
You should look it up. It's a good one.
I'm too old for that brush.
So yeah, there's like I think 60 pieces of this in the shop.
That's an awesome part.
It is.
What's the material?
B7. Grade 7.
Love it.
So machined out of B7 round bar. So they turned that down. They already milled this. They drilled and tapped this, and then the next setup is going to be drill and tap in the 2.5 8.
So what material did we start with, right? We obviously turned that down.
It's 4140.
I mean,
4140
diameter.
I didn't look at that. I know it's 6.5 inches long. I would guess that that's going to be 5 inches. That's probably where we start.
Okay, cool.
My guess.
I like it. It's a beautiful part.
It is.
Very unique.
Very, very sexy.
We make unique parts all the time. Everything we do is unique. Almost everything we do. Another unique part, right?
Very unique. Check this bad boy out. I mean, this is a wild part. So this isn't done either. This is an operation. This was sitting at the mill. I think there's only 8 pieces of this, but we have a couple similar parts being ran too in the shop. So you have a hex broached into the head of that. A little, I guess, what do you call that? A nipple? Is that a nipple there?
It's as good a description as I can think of.
I think so. It's like a little nipple on top of that little flanged face, that flanged surface. And then I don't know the size of that. What do you think that is? That's 5/8 11. Half inch.
That's not 11. That's a fine thread.
No.
Of course it is. It's not coarse. Let's get the thread gauge out.
What is this? That's a half inch. So that's a 5/8.
That's a 5/8. You're off on the diameter and the thread pitch. No, there's no way that's coarse.
Maybe you're right. Dude, I'm all over the place today. So this was made out of 4140 B7 material.
Yeah.
And check this out. So they're going to drill holes into this at an angle. So this is drilled through. The holes are going to be drilled through to meet that drilled hole on this side, and it's going to act as like a spray.
Yeah. So it's like a nozzle on a pressure washer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I've got those on a pressure washer. There's like a little piece on the top, and it's got several different spray patterns on there, and you can choose which one you want. So this will be obviously something similar to that. Yeah, a little hex brooch on the inside of that, threaded on the bottom.
It's actually a new customer of mine. I met the dad he's a dance dad as well.
Isn't that cool? You run into somebody.
Dude, it happens all the place.
Kid.
One of our good customers, I coached his son in baseball. So we were sitting out at a tournament in Beaumont, Texas, and we were just shooting the shit in between games. And he ended up being this director of supply chain for a big ass company. And now they're like one of our best customers.
Now it's about networking.
Networking, baby.
It works. The last part.
I mean, we talked about this last week, didn't we?
I don't think so. Oh, we did. We did. Well, this is the heat-treated final part. So this will be good to round it out.
This is an extra piece. It's actually shipped out today. We got a pallet ship out today. So I just think
last week we had one made out of brass. This is the actual Waspaloy material.
Waspaloy material.
Waspaloy H-hardened heat-treated material.
Heat-treated material. So you can see we didn't finish the knuckles, or you call them the cams, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't finish that. We brought them back in.
It's going to be a bearing surface.
It didn't grow a whole lot, so we took a little bit off the OD. We skimmed the ends.
This was a really tight tolerance. This was like a 0.5 thousandths is what this had to be within. So, you never know what's going to happen with it at the coater. It's going to expand just a little bit. So in order to make that more predictable, we didn't want to machine it down a lot because when it gets back to the heat treaters, it's so hard. You can't machine a lot.
Yeah.
So we kept this within a couple of thousandths. We came back and just sanded off just a few thousandths to get it within that 0.5 thousandths that we needed.
There you go.
It's cool. Threaded on the ends.
It's a badass part.
Tight tolerance on the
very tight
bearing
tolerance.
surfaces.
And man, they dialed that thing in too. They did a phenomenal job of making that.
I was very, very worried about that part. I mean, I know we're good.
We all were.
But
it's a big order.
That one was phenomenal. I'm really impressed with the guys and how they did on that. So.
It was a big order. So, expensive material. We spent a lot of time machining it. We had a lot of costs in heat treating it. So, yeah, it was a very stressful order.
Well, at least. It's not done yet.
You're right.
Got to get it.
You're right. But I'm pretty confident in it.
I am too.
I mean, I think we did a lot of QC on it, and it is spot on.
Yeah. Okay, good podcast, Bryce.
Episode 61.
61 in the books.
In the books.
Yep. Did a nice little technical topic on washers. Did some cool parts from the shop.
What are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to go meet Paul and Sabina and Bill and Karen and Andrew for dinner. We're going to go to a sushi place up in the Woodlands. It's great. We've been to it a couple of times. It's awesome. It's really good sushi place.
Very good.
And then, I don't know. I was thinking about going out to the ranch this weekend. I don't know.
It's a poke.
You want to go?
And it's wet out there.
You want to
go? Braden's got baseball.
Oh.
In Franklin, Texas.
Okay. It is wet out there. They've gotten a lot of rain.
Yeah.
but probably all the more reason I need to go out there and just
That's
check
true.
my legs.
My uncle in Lakey said that the Frio is finally flowing.
It is. It's
rocking
flowing right
and
now.
rolling.
They say you can actually float it.
It's awesome. It's been a
Yeah.
long time, baby.
I know.
They say Canyon Lake's starting to fill up.
I've heard that. Yeah.
They said it, but you know, all the rain, it's only rose. It's like 20 feet, 25 feet down, I think.
Mhm.
It's gotten like 18 inches, you know? So all that rain doesn't.
You might have waterfront property for us.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. You still, there's only 2 boat ramps up, but still.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a big
So-
fight today.
Sad.
Okay. All right, man.
Adios.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share.
Have a great weekend, guys.